Hey guys, what's going on? It's Tuesday. What is the January 5th? We're live here with Breaking the Ice with Glacier and my great friend and co-host Avi Klein. Avi's going to be joining us here in just a second, but I hope everybody had a great New Year's Eve celebration and welcome to 2021. I'm sure everybody's heard this a million times so far. Let's all hope that 2021 is better than 2020. Man, what a challenging year for everybody, right? But we got through it and lost some people close to us. I know I did, and I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that may have as well. And I just think, as I always say, life's 90% of how we react to everything. We got a lot thrown at us, but if we can just put some good positive energy out to the world, try to stay positive. Hopefully, good things will start to happen and continue to happen. JC, what's up, buddy? Um, Clyde, thanks, man. I'm on my phone, guys, today, so when everything comes up, it's kind of small. So, and my eyesight's not near as good as it used to be. So, I'm trying to make sure I get everybody's name right. but yeah, welcome to 2021, guys. This is our first episode. We're live from noon to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, and just wanted to let you guys know that after we finish the live recording, we'll be the recording will be posted on our Facebook page. And I apologize there. I got a little off track because I was getting a text there from QT Marshall, AEW star, and my business partner with our wrestling school. So I got to try to text him back after the show. But Tony Stark, welcome back, bro. I just responded to his comment from last night. Tony's comment about our the Cody Rhodes Nightmare Factory and QT Marshall and myself were all coaches for this first 12-week showcase of students that we had go through the first program. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Happy New Year, guys. Warren, Happy New Year. So, yeah, man, let's dive right in. And we got an hour and a half here to kind of cover a lot of really cool stuff. You know me and Avi, we're all about being super positive and having a great time. So we really appreciate you guys joining us. As I was getting ready to say, we'll have the recording here. It's always up. You can always go back and listen to the recording. Please, please, please share the recording. We have built such an amazing audience that Avi will talk a little bit more about once we get on here. But just to kind of, we're well over 2 million viewers, close to 2.5 million viewers now. And we get tons and tons of shares of the live show right now. And you cannot imagine how much that means to us, guys, because it just means more people are joining the tribe and sharing in what we're doing. And Avi and I were just talking before we went live just about how some of the other shows are getting just amazing numbers as well. So, and I will tell you right now, I love everybody that's on our roster. I'm so honored to be a part of this great roster of wrestling talent that's a part of putting some good stuff out to the world. But I'm a competitor too. I want to have the best numbers, guys. So just like I know Paul and Dale and Paul, and Bill and Mr. Morocco, everybody wants to. We all are competitors, so we all want to have the best numbers. But we're all in this together. So thank you guys for being a part of what we're doing here and helping us spread the word. So as always, I would like to try to start off each show with a positive quote, and then I'll recap this a little bit at the end. So this one I just put on Facebook this morning. I was really impressed to see that it's gotten a good bit of response so far. Hector, what's going on, buddy? And the quote is when you think about giving up, remember that if you quit, that means someone else gets to live your dream. And this is one of my favorite quotes that I try to throw out from time to time, especially with like our new 12-week camp that just started yesterday with our advanced trainees that train in the evening with us here at the Nightmare Factory in Atlanta, which we are a part of a much bigger organization, which is Chip Smith Performance Systems. We're a part of his 43,000 square foot world-class facility. Chip has been my big brother, my mentor, and someone who I really lean on and look up to ever since I was about 15, 16 years old. And I'm in I'm in the post 50s numbers there now, so that says we've known each other a long time. Chip's someone that I really do plan on having to come on as a guest here sometime here in the near future, just because I love him so much as a person and a mentor. But yeah, I know we got some pictures to kind of look at here. So Avi, if you got something to throw up there, man. Feel free to go ahead and toss one of those up there. And as we always try to do, Avi goes and pulls some pictures from my files, and we kind of talk about them a little bit. This picture right here is one that every time I see it, it makes me smile. It's obviously King Haku, Ming, Tonga Fafita, who's just one of my dearest friends. And this was when we were shooting the film The Replaceables, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about. My other great friend, Ricky Santana. Ricky and Tonga still work together to this day. And this was his son, Shiosi, and a little bit of a information about the film that you guys get to hear first is there's a scene when I go to recruit. My character goes to recruit Tonga's character in the film, and he's just finishing a wrestling match, and as I'm going to recruit him, his daughter and his grandson come up to him because his grandson's there to see his grandfather wrestle. And it's a really, really touching, beautiful scene with the three of them and my character kind of hanging out in the background. And so when it was written, I just said, you know what? Tonga, his daughter and his grandson live right here and where we're going to be filming the movie. How about if we, let them do the part in the movie? And so we did. And they worked a little bit with our acting coach. And man, I tell you what, everybody's going to be amazed. I mean, they really did an amazing job. I mean, really an amazing. I'm not just saying that. I mean, they really, really did an amazing job. And it was one of my ways that me and Luther Biggs, my co-producer on this project, could give a little bit of a gift to Tonga. That once this movie's done and it's out there, once it's done and it's out there forever. And this will be I think a really beautiful memory that he'll have with his daughter and his grandson. His grandson's already grown a lot since we did this scene. So just to know that there's something preserved in time of when he was that young, I think is a really beautiful gift to Tonga. I love Tonga so much. We'll have him on as a guest as we move forward through this year, and we get to talk more and more about the film. So once again, great picture. Really, it makes me smile every time I see that picture because I know what went into gathering all those great people together. And Ricky Santana also has been just a great friend of mine, and anybody that follows wrestling knows Ricky had an amazing career in the business as well. Man. I think I posted this on Facebook maybe a couple weeks ago, and our buddy who we used to refer to in the power plant as long hair because he had this great, great long hair, kind of like an 80s rocker. He posted this picture, and I actually borrowed it from him. And you hear me talk a lot about the WCW power plant. And I always to me, this was what I always referred to as the original power plant. There actually was a different location even before this one, where it originally started for about maybe a year or two. And then they moved to this location, which was more, up in near Smyrna, Georgia. And that was where the legends, I believe, of the power plant were really, most of them were made. This is where Sarge was the head trainer. Pistol Pez Watley. I was just talking to my buddy Ernest the Cat Miller earlier this morning, and we were reminiscing about Sarge and Pistol Pez. But right there is where that was what they called the Harvard of professional wrestling. Way before the WWE Performance Center or any other wrestling schools were really around, this really, really was the blueprint for what wrestling schools have become now, and at least the good ones. We used to go on once a month. There would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Once a month, they would do tryouts, and people would come from all over the world. Typically, it was a group of about 30, and they felt the wrath of Sarge and Pez and Mike Winter right out of the gate, and most of them, about half of them, would usually be gone by lunch the first day. I tell all of our trainees that it's a totally different world now. That if they had to go through what the power plant people had to go through, with all due respect to them, most of them probably wouldn't be doing this because it was. And I always go back to what Sarge always said was that as hard as it was. It was a very predictable, steady schedule. It was Monday through Friday. You slept in your own bed, you ate there, and you got to do your work and go home every day. And he always said, this is really the easy part of our business. Because back then, when you got bumped up to the main roster and you went on the road, you just understand you were on the road over 300 days a year. And wrestling on an average of somewhere between 200 and 250 shows a year. So it was an incredible grind. And if you couldn't take that regular schedule that was a very predictable Monday through Friday schedule, that trust me, there was no way you were not going to go on the road and crack, as we call it in the wrestling business. So as hard-nosed as Sarge was, and Sarge is an amazing, great, big-hearted guy, but he, the hard shell of him was what most people saw. But that's what he always said, like, I'm actually doing these people a favor and pushing them this hard to find out if their heart is really in it. And if it is, then great, we can work with that. But if it's not, doesn't matter how much talent they bring to the table. If they can't get through this, then there's no way they'll survive on the road. So yeah, that was kind of the philosophy, and it worked. I tell you what, you found out real quick if your heart was really in professional wrestling, if you really wanted to pursue it. But man, I tell you, I always say about the power plant. Whatever you've heard about the power plant, the legendary stories, it was at least that tough, probably tougher because, and I'm a very proud alumnus of the power plant. I will say this, and I'm always honest about this. I had almost 10 years in the business before I went to WCW. Thankfully, I didn't have to do the 3-day tryout, but I'd like to believe. I mean, I know me, and I know my heart, and I know my level of work ethic. That I would not have quit. I can say they would have had to drag me out of there, and I know that for sure. But I am still, that being said, very thankful I didn't have to go through that 3-day workout to prove that to everybody. My best buddy, Luther, that's how we met, was in the power plant. And at the time, he was over 300 pounds when he went through the 3-day trial, and he survived it. And he always said, and I back him on this, is like, he said, if I can go through this at that weight, and he was very athletic, trust me, and he had an amazing work ethic. If he said, if I can go through this, someone comes in here who's 100 pounds lighter than me or 50 pounds lighter than me, and they look great, but they can't go through it, then they don't earn the right to be here. And I was a firm believer of that too. So very proud alumnus of the power plant. But I will say very thankful I didn't have to go through the 3-day tryout, which is the legendary stories about the 3-day tryout. It was about an 85% dropout rate in those tryouts. So if you made it through it, you could wear your stripes proudly. And my buddy Luther did. Oh, this is a great picture. And I can't remember how I found this picture. I think I just found it on the internet when I was either Googling Luthez or Stan Hansen. But, obviously, if you listen to our podcast, you know how much I admire Luthez. I just had the honor of getting to know him the last 10 years of his life. Mark Fleming, who, as far as I'm concerned, was his number one protege. Luthez's number one protege. Mark and I are still friends on Facebook. And Mark helped me tremendously when I first got over to UWFI in Japan. I would really like to get Mark on the show as a guest. Because even though I say that Lou mentored me, Mark was really the one that Lou really took under his wing, really as a wrestler, as a performer, as a professional. And Mark has some just amazing, great stories about Luthez. But also Stan the Lariat Hansen, who I first met when, of course, I admired Stan like everybody did when I was a kid growing up. And I say kid when I was in high school and college and, still acting like a kid. And Stan was at the height of his career in that 70s and 80s. And I got to meet him when I worked on No Holds Barred. And as so many people have said, yes, he's certainly worthy of the Hall of Fame recognition that he has and that honor. But he was as ferocious as he could be in the ring. He was equally as nice and kind and just warm and friendly of a person as you ever wanted to meet outside the ring. He's someone that I definitely plan on having on here as a guest once we get ready to really go into full promotion for the film. He had an amazing role in the film, a role that we wrote specifically for him. And thank God that not only was he willing, he was able to leave his comfortable ranch outside of in Colorado, come down to Florida and spend a few days with us filming this movie. Once again, I feel like he saw the vision we had and how our movie was designed to really celebrate the wrestling fan as well as the wrestling community and especially the professional wrestlers. So a lot more to come about Stan Hansen, but and like I said, everybody knows how much I idolize and just admire Luthez. But that's one of my favorite pictures because it's the only one I've ever seen of them together. Actually, I take that back. I have a great picture of them where Lou was a referee kind of getting on the stands. But this is a picture a buddy of mine did who kind of put some graphics together a few years back. And one of my favorite pictures and favorite examples of me always saying, do what you love and what you love will reward you. And some of the past episodes we talked about, I was so fortunate to get to spend 3 days with Muhammad Ali at a convention, me and Dallas Page. And on the second day, after I got to know him a little bit, he kind of loosened up a little bit and we started kind of goofing around and taking pictures. And he actually took my hand and said, hey, let's do this picture here. And he actually put my fist on his nose. So he actually posed me for this picture with him. And I can tell you this. I don't know of a lot of people who have a picture posed with Muhammad Ali like that. So I'm very, very thankful that I got to meet him. Very, very, very thankful that I have these pictures that I can show and share with everybody now that he's gone. Yes, thanks, Michael. Definitely, please help us share this podcast, guys. We really want to reach as many people as we can. Avi and I on our show here called Breaking the Ice is really about it's rooted in pro wrestling, of course, because that's kind of my background. Of course, Avi's background as well. But we just, our show is about putting some really good energy out to the world, having some fun for an hour and a half to kick off your week to get going here, and just really just like I said, put some good energy out to the world. I know that Veronica, I think Veronica's listening right now. I hope her and her sister was supposed to be going out to do some furniture shopping. So hopefully she didn't come back with half a dozen big pieces for a house there. But anyway, Veronica, if you're listening, love you. Be careful. Don't spend too much.